Folks, welcome on in. Happy hump day. It feels like we are at the halfway point of our week, but it has been a long one indeed. The McDermott mystery did not get solved anymore today with Terry Pegula and Brandon Beane's press conference. We'll get into the reactions to that, things that were said, how Keon Coleman's feeling right now, and more. How Sabre fans are feeling are great after a bounce-back win in Nashville. We'll get into the rest of the sports sphere. I don't know how much because there's a lot going on in the Buffalo, but with that said, strap in and let's go.
We all need a place where we can be ourselves, somewhere you can leave all your worries on the shelf, and whether you win or lose, you can count on me, and I can count on you.
Folks, welcome on in. It's Herd of Buffalo, Trainwreck Sports. It is Trainwreck today. Rocking live in Hamburg. I got Slick L on my left. Got Don on the ones and twos. We got producer Rachel in the saddle. Slick, I know you hosted here on Monday. That was a crazy day. This feels like a crazy day. I mean, it's hard to believe that 100 hours ago we were enjoying, the beer depot in Denver, Colorado. And now it seems like the very foundation of trust the process universe has now been blown to smithereens.
There's not much process to be trusting, at least not at the moment. McDermott out the door. Press conference gets announced late last night. We have it early this morning. Questions answered, but maybe more questions
generated.
Generated than left to be answered. I thought a lot of people are saying certain words about Terry's performance in this presser. I think certain aspects from Terry, Trainwreck, you look at like the internal power struggle that was mentioned it looked like it was showing itself in that very
it was
presser.
on
Terry
there were
Beane off left and right. I will say, I don't think this was a bad performance from Beane. I thought you don't come away feeling terrible about Beane. There are moments where you feel unsure and that he has to clarify some things that Terry might have made seem up in the air or flat out bad. But
this was almost like, I mean, I guess this sounds crazy. Like you had, a kid, like a adolescent, like high schooler in the principal's office, and Beane was the parent. And Terry was kind of like the 16-year-old kid who was like, but yeah, 5232226.
let me stop you
like
right
every
there.
stuff, like, so yeah, to stop you right there, let me address this. Talking about turn. Don, I guess this is why, pundits were saying live as it was going on. I mean, owner press conferences are must-see TV.
Yeah, not often you get the owner up in front, and we've said this before. Anytime the owner chooses to speak with the media, you're going to get some good stuff. Now, I saw a number of clips that we posted as well as some other people. I was getting ready for the show, producing this, getting all our graphics, all our topics, all our videos, because let's be honest, the crash outline got flooded yesterday.
More calls in a day than it probably got in a week or two.
Yeah, insane.
Maybe ever.
But from what I watched, yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. I'll just say, because one of the biggest things that has been kind of dividing this sphere is, we got our tinfoil hats, but this is even a little far for me, is that, Beane was the whisperer and got in Terry's ear and did that. It didn't seem like Terry and Beane were all buddy today, though. It did not seem like they were, it seemed like there was some tenseness. Like you said, Beane was kind of maybe the more media savvy guy steering the conversation, went off course, and Terry was maybe a little more emotional one. But I just didn't see that they're, these two buddy guys that, I don't know. There's a lot to be said about
this. I mean, there's so many layers. I mean, I think between the relationship they clearly have now, which looks not like splintered, like you said, but to say they're on the same page would absolutely be, not correct. Right now, like they're the two managing the ship, and they knew that people are not happy with how this boat is performing at this current window. I know. Listen. Making the divisional game, the expectation is just different when you have a Josh Allen.
I got to give it to these reporters. These were some of the most hard-hitting questions I've heard at a Bills press conference.
Marino put their face to the mud about the WGR situation.
Since maybe one of old fellows that we know of. But it was hard-hitting. If you, like you guys said, don't totally seem like they're on the same page. To me, the whole time, it felt like Beane, without saying it, felt like he totally didn't want Terry sitting next to him doing this presser with him. He felt like he could have handled this himself, especially with the elevation to president of football operations. I feel like he could have addressed this totally himself. Felt like Terry was unnecessary, but at the end of the day, knows Terry's the one elevating him to this position when he might not deserve it, and is lucky maybe to still have a job.
I'm a big dummy, but like we're talking about how like this clearly did not go as they planned. Like that's we can all agree on that, right? Like this press conference was not executed
to me, basically
exactly how they wanted.
It was Terry digging themselves a hole and Beane trying to find a way in real time to dig his way out.
Well, I'm just wondering, because you said it was announced last night, so clearly they came together. They're like, we got to do this. I think that the plan was to have Terry talk with that statement at the beginning. So again, were you guys able to watch this live? I was watching live while you guys were kind of prepping for the show, so it was a little weird.
I watched probably the first 20 minutes while working and listened uninterrupted until I had to change things. And then that was questions. But again, I saw a lot of the clips, and then I watched the next 10 minutes right before. So I think the video on Twitter was about 52 minutes. So I saw a good 3/5 of that.
I haven't missed. I'm sorry. I caught all of it except for the very beginning. I missed Terry's opening statement thanking Sean McDermott, but then I got the Beane reiteration. I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, my whole point is
going to be Terry doing the intro and then sitting the hell out.
That was
he probably should
basically like, Terry, you're going to be involved. We're going to let you do the opening statement. I think Beane was expecting like, most of the questions are going to come from me since I'm like the one managing everything. There might be a couple, like one or two for Terry about the decision making or whatever. But I guarantee you, in Beane's mind, he did not know that Terry would be like stepping into so many questions. And like, there were times where they got asked a question and Terry was like, well, I'd like to address the dissolving or whatever. Like there were so many times where he wanted to input. And again, I respect it as the owner. You own the team. That's your, if you want to do it, but you also hire people to make these decisions and be the talkers for you.
Way too many times. And it felt, you could see Beane getting more tired the more Terry stepped in and cut off a reporter that was actually asking Beane a question. Yeah. Let's just jump right to the biggest one, though. The Keon, he basically throws McDermott under the bus.
Let's save the entree. Save the entree, which is the Keon for sure. What about the WGR appetizer first? Perino puts his head to the fire, basically.
So I actually thought Beane, like, you could say it's a lame explanation. I thought he said like what he needed to, and the best PR response possible was that he was just too passionate in the moment. I thought he handled the question pretty well. I thought it was funny how he alluded to the fact that he already knew they were bringing in Elijah Moore.
Yeah, the Elijah Moore, which I knew that like that's crazy. Like, and that's crazy to like point like to Elijah Moore as though that was some like ace in the hole with how his Bills career went down.
In my back pocket,
absolutely.
Like it was going to solve everything.
My only thing with it was that, and I posted the clip like a week and a half or 2 weeks later on the Bills YouTube. I mean, they were like Harlem Globetrotter dunking with like the talking heads takes about how like Beane took these like radio guys to the woodshed or whatever. And Beane's kind of saying like, oh, it was just a momentary thing. Like, no, they were feet up. If it played right, it's just like anything else. Like, if it worked out in their favor, they would be doing a victory lap down.
Yeah, I mean, let's not kid ourselves too. Beane, he starts up that, if you remember the WGR thing, with the trump card he will always be able to slap down on the table, which is I drafted Josh Allen and none of you suckers liked it.
They used that today. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, of course. That's what I mean.
When things got very tough, like around the 37-minute mark, I think Terry fired it.
So he's always going to have that. I thought he, said what he wanted to. I mean, as a guy that's, been, you get confrontation. You don't want to back down. And I thought saying he was a passionate guy and maybe he wished he handled things a little differently, but he was sticking up for his guys. I mean, that is something, you do want out of a GM. I don't really think he's saying it was a different tone than like, hey, we put up 30 points. You're wrong. It was slightly different where I think he was kind of roundabout saying, maybe things didn't work out this way as I thought they were going to, but it was because I believed in my guys. I wanted to have their back. You have, local radio stations trashing, like that's the interesting thing too, is the same guys that he's defending the wide receiver room against don't like the Keon Coleman comments. So, like, that's what I mean. Are we putting our feet to the fire where we don't believe in this wide receiver room? Or is this just becoming a personal battle between personalities where it's like, oh, no, they said, all this stuff about Keon. How's he got to be feeling? That's not cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, are we going to be critical or is this just like, we're taking the opposite side of whatever Brandon Beane does now?
It's
like,
kind of surreal to me, too, because there is video of Josh Allen before at the 2024 NFL draft saying that Keon Coleman is one of the receivers he likes. I mean, that's all you have to hear if you're Brandon Beane.
Yeah.
If you hear that Josh Allen likes him, the thing that gets lost in translation here, because I think in a very minor way, this like now who drafted Keon has almost become who ordered the code red. You know what I mean? From what is it? A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. And obviously at some point, Josh Allen was consulted when they were drafting a receiver.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you he was in the conversation.
And so
for us to be pointing fingers over one pick and to be talking about it in such a way like this, like what we're getting into it now with the Keon of it all, obviously, like this was the most McDermott Beane thing that has like happened. Like, and that makes sense because he's gone now. Like this was straight out of the drought to be just talking about a player who's an active member of your roster and kind of pointing fingers on who's responsible for drafting him, kind of insinuating that you're disappointed and that there's issues.
Well, I mean, but McDermott during the season was, not mincing words about benching him. So, but again, yeah, kind of where it did give off some infighting vibes. And hey, I had this in the notes before even the press conference. If we're gonna say Josh Allen has to say the biggest problem I have, and again, we can argue should both McDermott and Beane had to be gone. We're going to get into that later. I'm sure we'll get into the McDermott of it all later. But it has to be said, the people that don't think McDermott had a say in crafting this roster, I mean, you're out of your mind. Like he had to say, more than Josh Allen. And if Josh Allen is like, that's my problem, is we're all acting like, these guys weren't working together and listening to each other. And that's how the relationship falls apart. Everything's gravy when it's gravy. And
absolutely a house of cards situation. When Josh Allen's scoring 30 a game, and that's enough for the defense to get it done, everything is working out fine. I think when you're drafting, right, like when you have Josh Allen, there's almost a mentality, especially after last year, it was like, well, he can make any band of guys work, right? He can go out there and we can make any platoon of guys work, especially after last year. And I think that very much bit them in the face this year with their Josh Palmers, with Elijah Moore, how he worked out. Brandon Cooks, even with like the controversy of that last play or whatever, he actually was kind of fitting in pretty well at the end of the year. That's a guy maybe we should have like looked into sooner. I know he got released, everything like that, whatever. But it's just like you said, Don, it's perfectly said. They all had a role in it. And now there's kind of a house of cards succession situation like occurring where they're like, no, well, that person was responsible for that. And that like to me, this reads that they will be trading Keon Coleman as soon as they can for a 6th round pick, because they'll be saying, well, it was McDermott who wanted him. It was the coaches with McDermott who wanted him, even though there's draft footage of Beane saying, oh, he ran a slow 40. Hopefully that means we can get him, like weeks before it happened.
That was the biggest part that I alluded to, was Beane in real time trying to dig himself out of the hole that Terry just dug right in front of his face, because I don't really think Terry wasn't ill-intended when he said it, obviously. I think, was it Beane's top choice? Absolutely not. But was Beane on board with the whole team as a whole on the pick? Yes. What did Beane have another name that he might have preferred above Keon Coleman at receiver, or maybe even a completely different position? I think that's what Terry was alluding to. He just absolutely, the delivery was botched. And in real time, Beane had to make up for his mistake and say, listen, we draft as a team. If we drafted Keon Coleman, at the end of the day, I signed off on the pick. I'm the one that made the call to the player himself.
All they had to say was the Buffalo Bills drafted Keon Coleman. There's been rocky steps in his development, which we're all responsible for, and we are dedicated to making him the best Buffalo Bill he can be. That's all they can say.
But as a result of what Terry said, now Beane is running laps trying to fix this.
Dancing.
And Keon Coleman is probably on his way out the door as a result as well.
I mean, it's crazy to me that 3.5 days ago he scored a touchdown to bring us within 6. I know that it's not gone all to plan with him, Don, but it's just crazy. Again, it's just so, like, what do we want to call the era where it was McDermott and Beane and, like, there was never any leaks of anything, and, like the process era?
Yeah, probably.
Like this is so unprocessed era, it's insane.
Well, too, I want to be fair. It's not like, we fired McDermott, and all of this happened. And I kind of have a bunch of this in the notes. We talked about it a little Monday. I mean, looking back, you can see some of the writing was on the wall. And
the proverbial playoff wall, literally.
And two, I will say this: there's a lot of Pegula clips that aren't bad, but I'm going to say I agreed with when he brought up the locker room at the end of the game. I mean, let's be honest. A guy, McDermott, we keep him for the culture. We have guys throwing helmets in the tunnel. Josh Allen not making eye contact with anyone, bawling his eyes out in a press conference. Now
we can acknowledging Terry.
We can feel sympathetic and emotional and say, "I'm sorry for you, Josh," but I have to be honest. I do not want my franchise leader having that type of presentation in front of a press conference. I really don't. I want out of a leader someone that can maybe keep it a little tight-zipped. It was sad. That was like in real time the culture crumbling to bits.
Speaking of emotions, just real quick, and I'm not harping on anyone for this, but I think it fits with exactly what you're saying. Trey White unsportsmanlike penalty.
Yeah, taking his helmet off, throwing.
That's like a day one grade A McDermott guy, and that was Jerry Hughes, Rex Ryan era.
Yeah,
but like I'm not saying that Lutz or whatever isn't going to nail the kick easily, of course. Like, and I get it that Trey was very frustrated, but those were those cracks in the foundation that you were saying did not exist, do not typically exist, but they were very obvious.
And then McDermott too, like you can take the think and then calling from the plane. I told Slick, I text
calling from the plane was
this
bonkers.
one. I text my friend. I'm like, I think he thinks he's out and he's trying to at least be like, listen, I got you, Buffalo, and gain some sympathy. I think it was 50-50. I think he believed what he was saying, but Sean McDermott going that far to harp on one call, I mean, that is not the culture guy we've ever seen. So again, like the signs that this was the end were all there in that last game and how it ended. Now, you know, people have said, you know, that catch is called the other way. Is he gone? And I'll quote the Ravens coach, not for another week.
Exactly. Like that's how crazy this all is too, is that like, I mean, I hate to say this because the game is over. They lost. There's not going to be any recourse. I mean, the worst angle that showed like almost the most obvious catch felt like it came out like yesterday evening, early afternoon. I hadn't seen like, and people are like, the NFL hid this angle for like, because I had not seen that for 48 hours. I don't know if you guys had seen that or whatever, but that one by far literally looks like Brandon Cooks goes to the ground with the catch and it gets ripped out. But again, yeah, you're not gonna be able to argue that. You're not gonna be able to change that. And now we're in a completely different universe with no McDermott.
Isn't it just so crazy too how all these people that were pleading for McDermott's not only job to be gone,
that's the most surprising to me.
NFL coaching career to be done. Now they're just, oh, well, we shouldn't have fired McDermott. It should have been Beane. Sean should still have his job. I feel for you, Sean. You stood up for Buffalo. You guys didn't give a shit about Sean McDermott in week 4 when we hit this skid.
Yeah,
when we lost to the Patriots, the same people.
Well, it is the same people.
His head on a platter.
It is the same people.
Here we are. We're crying for him now.
I mean, so with that said, you know, because this wasn't like you guys were doing the show Monday. It was still like very fresh. It was like what, like maybe an hour or two after the news
broke.
That
recency bias, I get it.
No.
Here we are 2 days later.
And I'm saying my point being that like that hadn't taken fruition yet. Like people.
Yeah, I wasn't reacting to other people. Are you guys
surprised like that there is such an like outpouring, like because it felt like during the era, like you said. It was all he can't get it done. He'll never be able to get like Josh over the hump, and you're gonna wait like this guy's wasting Josh's prime or whatever. All these things were definitely said. Like, are you guys like believing that it's as much as it seems with the emotional outpouring, or is this just a knee-jerk reaction with some very prominent people being very vocal?
I think there's a few things at play. Well, first of all, to answer your question, utterly shocked, more shocked than the McDermott firing, because I think all of us thought Pegula wouldn't do that. Then we do our show Monday. That's kind of us, like, you know, exploring our own feelings and recapping the game. But yeah, the most shocking part was seeing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about fans because fans are emotional and go back and forth. I'm talking about a lot of local podcasters, local media, people I've seen ask him to be fired. Some even admitting, hey, if this was 2 years ago, I'd be on board, but not now, which I think is fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Fucking crazy. Because it's like you don't understand linear of time. It's like how do you think we get to Trey White chucking his helmet across the field and Josh Allen bawling his eyes out if 2 years ago he's not you know what I mean? So the inconsistency, the like not standing on business, the fickleness is one of the most bothersome parts about this.
That's it for me too. I'm not shocked at all by the outpouring. I am shocked by the size of it, and I'm shocked by the amount of the most outspoken people against this head coach. The entire tenure are the ones now pleading that we shouldn't have fired him and it was unfair and unjust. And it's ridiculous. Make up your damn mind. I want to say quit bitching.
Stand on business.
It might be a bit too soon to say that, but stand on business.
A little crazy, by the way. Thanks for tagging along with us on the craziness here on Trainwreck today. Trainwreck Sports, Heard of Buffalo. Make sure you're following both where it never stops. Speaking of never stops, so there were a couple little media blurbs in all of this. So first, you know, they kind of asked if there was any power plays or whatever being made, you know, behind the scenes, which everyone is going to, like, that's like asking, like, oh, you know, is reality TV scripted? Of course there are. You're not going to point them out to anybody and be like, yes, like there were little things, but nothing major. Ty Dunn article got mentioned. Like, I'm pretty sure Ty Dunn is like in the like press area there.
It has to be, right?
Like, so it's kind of crazy for Beane to be like, 2 years ago, there was an article like calling McDermott out. I was the first one to like it was that was kind of like as like standoff, like step off, dude, as Beane got.
That was the article.
Well, this is where
that was the article.
This is where it gets really nasty too. I mean, in terms of like the tinfoil hat things, we have guys online, and Ty Dunn has refuted this. He said the first time I sat down with Beane was in 2024, pretty much after the fact now, claiming that the 2023 article was like propaganda that Beane put out and fed Ty Dunn. There's like
a lot that I mean, would you not say that's probably the most prominent tinfoil theory right now in Bills Mafia?
There is. And that even to the extent I saw some, and these are checkmarked accounts with way more followers than me. A lot of people are listening to saying even the ESPN show with Ian Rappaport and Mina Kimes on there, like Beane's feeding them info. Yeah. I mean, like this is really
juicy stuff.
Bizarre. Like I'm like, again, I like a good conspiracy
Beane
theory, but this is going far for me.
Have you ever seen the PFF guy talk about Beane like saying he was going to cut off like sending them the numbers because of like their rulings?
I have heard that, and that is legitimate. And I believe that
Beane's working the phones. We know he's always working on training. He pays attention to everything. He is talking to everything. He is in every line of communication. He knows every channel that's going on, and that's why the control of the messaging within One Bills Drive is so important to them, because he knows how it's perceived and everything. All the more surprising that stuff essentially went to shit today in this presser. I mean, was there anyone who thought this wasn't a train wreck? Like, I'm not asking on this panel. I'm talking about any like opinions you saw. Did you see any opinions that changed how you thought about this presser?
I'll say it wasn't. I don't know if I was like complete train wreck. I think I had the expectations that this is going to be major damage control based on they just fumbled the firing in the first place, putting out like a thank you coach 24 hours later.
The thank you coach, by the way, like AI generated like in probably like 3 seconds.
Video the day after. You know, Admirals.
I'm sorry. Listen, am I acting like, you know, I was not what part, you know, full discretion here on Herd of Buffalo Network. Did I once, you know, participate in the creation of a Josh Bryan label? Yes, I did. Okay. So I take accountability for that. But we have high paid communications directors, people like sending out the first line of a press statement with just a completely aired word. Insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think I'll say it's a train wreck as far as I think Terry got caught with his pants down a little bit, because in regards to Bill's world,
have a belt on, brother.
In regards to Bill's world, he hasn't really had to do any of this, right? It's all been on Sabres. He's had to do this. Now the Sabres are fine, and then now he has to do this in the Bills, which isn't his world too. He even said when he bought he's more of a hockey guy.
He's got an even Steven thing going on. He can't have. And it's not 6'7". Even Steven. He can't have one without the other.
What a convenient time to elevate Brandon Beane to president of football ops, right?
Yeah.
The Sabres are doing well. He can't handle as much. Who knows? They even asked him about that. The time, like at the team. Actually in the organization, at the facilities. It felt like a Sabres question.
I think that the Beane elevation too, like that feeds into the House of Cards power play of it as much as anything. The fact that he kind of ended up with a promotion, like out of all this, like that's definitely bonkers.
I like how the reporters touched on that as well. I will say, I think Terry was an absolute train wreck today. Unpopular opinion, because I haven't seen anyone else say it. I think Beane, in terms of everything that he was answering that wasn't digging himself out of the hole that Terry just dug, he held his own. I thought he did an okay job. Obviously, it wasn't like immediate satisfaction, the answers he was giving. It can't be in a situation like that, right? Losing in the divisional in dramatic fashion with a less than stellar roster. You're not going to satisfy everyone with your answers right away. I thought he did okay, but Terry dug him a hole he just couldn't dig all the way out of.
Yeah, it's a classic situation where he should have let, especially if he gave Beane this promotion, he really should have let him drive this press conference. But I mean, look at the Sabres. He fired Kevin Adams, and the roster he constructed is in racing towards potentially not just a wild card spot, but a top 3 spot. And it was all because people started chanting "sell the team" pretty much. So I think this is an emotional guy. He's seen the not just the language on the internet, but on the radio stations and around the league. And he just made a classic mistake where he couldn't step aside and let Beane take this. Now, I think the Beane promotion only happened because one of two things were going to happen. If you're going to get rid of McDermott, you're either going to clean house and get rid of Beane too, which we can argue about. I'm not a fan of. I don't want to completely smash it to bits and start over, especially with, based on the cap hell we're facing and everything. But up until this point, Beane was a GM, but Sean probably had more power than a normal head coach. They were running it together. It was like
Mick Beane.
He's like, I'm not going to be involved in this. So you know what? All my chips into Beane are going in on Beane. We're making you the president too. I don't know. It could even open the door to Beane hiring another GM and just taking on that one role. I don't think he would want to do that though, because it's almost like admitting that you need to bring someone else in because you can't get it done. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell.
Indeed. Anything else from this press this second? Yeah, I want to wrap up with the Andre Smith Jr. tweets that came last night.
This
but
is like
anything else?
A direct. Well, no, I don't have anything else unless you do, Don.
Well, I mean, I think wrap it up. If we're all the McDermott talk and and we mentioned the Ty Dunn article that, go for it. His page, they put out that screenshot. And I'm going to bring it up now of Sean McDermott in playoff losses. And I think,
the last 6 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
33 points allowed. I'll run through the numbers.
So he's counting since 2020, which I think is fair because one of the
Super Bowl expectations.
Because one of the playoffs was with Tyrod Taylor and the other was with rookie Josh. But I mean, this is let me. We have too many crash out lines.
The numbers are very bad, bottom line. And it's kind of reminiscent for how the Denver game went this year. KC
so
game
here we
went
go.
The last 2 years before that.
Let me get our overlay off. So this is how the defense fared in those 6 of 8. Again, these are the 6 where Josh is. This is prime Josh. 52-9 kneel down drives. 25 touchdowns, 13 field goals, 12 punts, 1 missed field goal, 3 turnovers. This is the worst part. Good for 3.83 points per drive.
I mean, that's insane.
Shout out Chris Trapasso, our good friend. He posted that's worse than what the New England Patriots 2007 offense was averaging in the regular season when they were blowing out everyone and went undefeated.
I mean, 3.8, it's insane because I think you get an average of like 9 to 10 drives per game. So you're talking about, averaging 30 points. Pretty insane.
Now,
listen, I was a McDermott supporter. I'll full hands up. Like, I thought that, with Josh and McDermott, we kind of had a great combo. We had an elite offensive QB or who could command the offense. Then we had a guy in defense. McDermott did not live up to his end of the bargain in those playoff games, for certain.
Which is kind of a good segue for the Andre Smith Jr. tweets.
These are big.
Because he's like kind of the only guy, not only guy going to bat for McDermott, but maybe in some of these high-profile situational fuck-ups.
It doesn't get more high-profile than the 13 seconds and people say McDermott.
Don, you saw these, right?
Let me see if I can.
McDermott was not play calling the defense whatsoever.
McDermott didn't order that code red. So he starts with y'all been on Brandon Beanehead all day. Have mercy. Someone said they've been on McDermott since 13 seconds. That led to him going, the 13 seconds wasn't McDermott. Not going to be messy right now, but it wasn't McD. So then you start to open, okay, well, who else was responsible for the defense during a timeout? Quite simply put, it was Leslie Frazier. Now, a lot of Buffalo fans think that McDermott kind of scapegoated Frazier and Smiley, I believe his name was, the special teams coach from this era for not script kicking.
That's the bizarre thing about McDermott's now the scapegoat. Well, it's like, well, hold on a second. 2-3 years ago, it was McDermott was scapegoating everyone. And so.
Well, that's the NFL, right? It's like the scapegoat game will always continue. So then you have, it wasn't solely Sean, but it definitely blamed it on Smiley and Frazier. A fan responded, my guy Brad. And then he goes, we were the #1 defense in the NFL that year, and he did not call the defense in that game, referring to McDermott. Another fan responds, did y'all really hate Leslie Frazier that much laughing?
Basically, like, was this the guy responsible that you're implying?
And he
right
goes,
now?
personally, I do, and I don't care who knows. So,
Yeah.
again, this is, I cannot stress enough. People will say, like, oh, yeah, there's been post-game locker room reports. There's been stuff about 13 seconds that's come up. Nothing has come out to this level where any player has spoken on, like, responsibility, who they think was calling the shots, who was that wrong, etc. Andre Smith, obviously, doing something that we've never kind of seen before with that 13 seconds narrative. So very interesting. I have a question for you guys, and I want to put a button on this discussion, and it's the perfect way to do it with my button. Okay? I'm going to give you the option to hit the button. If right now you could fire Beane and get back McDermott, would you hit the button?
Nope. I think I said it on Monday. I agree with the decision. I was just caught off guard by exactly how it played out. I think if you're going to double down on Beane right now, I would not push that button. I believe in Beane. I trust him for at least a year or two more. Let's see what he can do. This is the first time he's really had to kind of put things into a somewhat of a rebuild, not total rebuild, but rebuild position in certain aspects, which is what one reporter brought up to him.
My heart
himself.
skipped a beat when the word rebuild got used. I almost had to have like
hate to use the R word at a GM press conference, but it's the first time he may have ever heard it since he came in when he did. So no, I would not push that button. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, I'm not going to push the button. I'm going to be real. All season long, everyone, whether you agreed with McDermott being fired or not, was saying as long as we have Josh Allen, the window's open. We have Josh Allen. We have James Cook, leading rusher. We have two guys. I've seen a Super Bowl win with less. Now, does that get Beane off the hook for the roster? Not at all. But I do not want to completely disassemble this. And if I'm being real honest, again, this goes back to the last loss. This goes back actually throughout the season, losses we had, where I see Josh making, let's be honest, some of the plays he's making, fumbles, choices, this is coaching. If it's not the coach, then what is it? Or what's the point of having a head coach? Also, the culture, I'm standing by this statement, this season, there were cracks shown, and it's slowly disintegrated. I don't care if it's like standard old school NFL football where you want to have guys hold their chin high, but I do. I don't want Josh Allen taking his helmet off and just looking down after throwing a pick. I like the angry Josh we saw in that 13 seconds game. I haven't seen for 2 years.
I agree.
So the locker room has to change, and that starts with the head coach. So I'm not pushing that button. And
someone who is pushing that button is Steve Harrington's BMW on Twitter. I can share this comment. Wrong guy got fired, but the good thing for me is at least I don't have a radio show where he'll call in and yell at me like I'm a little bitch. I mean, that's pretty, again, I don't think he I don't think Jeremy or Sneaky Joe are little bitches, but that's a pretty funny comment for sure. From Steve Harrington's BMW. All right, we'll put a stop on that for the Buffalo presser talk, but now we're on to the coach talk. A lot of news this morning. It seemed like, by the way, they start their presser where they're like, oh yeah, Derek told me like some of the names got like released that we were going to be interviewing. Like, wasn't that like Beane that did the releasing? Probably. Yeah, probably not the coaches. So. Like the coaches' agents are running to the news people and telling them, like, I don't know. I don't know how anything works. Names though, we got Anthony Lynn. Linsanity is back. I don't know if you guys were into it in 2016, but Linsanity was pretty heavy.
This one was quite surprising to me.
Lou Anarumo, Brian Dable, Joe Brady, Grant Udinsky, and Anthony Weaver. The only one that really sticks out to me is Dable. I think the fact that he's getting a shot and his proximity to Josh, if Josh likes him, Beane will be hiring him. I think it's really that simple. And I think it's the same for another guy who has been kind of in the mentions, and this was in the rundown here, so shout out to everyone, Davis Webb. Davis Webb seems to be now like the dark horse, like Sean McVay, like this guy's like a QB offensive whisperer. He's going to be like you had Mitch Morse saying he would thrive as a head coach.
Josh already knows him and loves him, I guess.
Bottom line is I think that maybe it might be best. Like someone was saying you could end up with a Joe Brady, Brian Dable head coach offensive coordinator. I don't see that happening, but I do think you could end up with a Brian Dable head coach, Davis Webb offensive coordinator. of the Buffalo Bills, if that makes sense.
That would be cool too, especially for the people that want offensive-minded people back in charge of these coaching positions. You know, Davis Webb apparently is responsible for a lot of success the Broncos passing game has. So it'd be interesting to see. That's definitely on my radar for the familiarity factor once we get into our top 4 choices later in the show. Yeah, wouldn't mind it at all.
Yeah, the Joe Brady of it all is like, man, I hope he gets a job elsewhere for like 2 reasons. One, yeah, if we bring in a Dable and keep him at like offensive coordinator, is this Game of Thrones situation going to get weirder where, you know, Joe Brady feels slighted, like that, you know, we're hiring an old OC to go over his head. And it's just like a classic, like, man, it'd be way easier for him to quit than to replace or fire him. And I wish him the best. Like I thought we talked about it on Monday. We thought he actually called a pretty good game.
Don't talk shit about his Denver game. He called an absolute winning performance. He called a performance where the offense should have scored more than 30 points at the end of the day, or at least should have outperformed where the defense was. He did his job in the playoffs for certain, Joe Brady. So if you can say all you want about the slow starts, et cetera, but he definitely delivered when all the eyes were on him.
But the Dable of it all, Slick and I were saying, I was telling him Monday, that was the first thing I text my friend group chat, and first thing I said to him is, I'm like, this has a Dable hire written all over it. That's where if I'm betting, and that's what the market's favoring right now, that's what I'm saying.
You're not hopping on Steinfeld?
Yeah, well, I mean,
come on, let's respect the juice. You're a guy who respects the juice.
I like the juice. Yeah. Maybe bring her in as a consultant, special teams,
offensive quality coordinator.
Yeah, that's special teams. I don't want, she's a little too close to Josh, so I don't, it's hard. I don't know if she can whip him into shape if he fumbles twice and needs to be told something. But
one name that got kind of lost in this segment, it's actually spooky. So about 15 years ago, John Fox was the coach of the Broncos. Peyton comes in. I think they had like a 700 win percentage, but they never got past the divisional or the conference championship. They hired Gary Kubiak, who finally gets Peyton Manning and the Broncos over that hump and gets them to a Super Bowl, and they win it. Now it's like 10 to 12 years later, and you had Sean McDermott, who's like a defensive guy similar to John Fox, like very good record as coach. Clint Kubiak, Gary Kubiak's son. If I'm not like just completely messing this up, could be this could be poetry. This could be rhyming. So Clint Kubiak's a name that's got a lot of burn as well. We'll be very interested to see. At the very least, I will say that it makes for some good conversation, boys, to have all these coaches and figure out exactly what's going on. I will say that the Sabres people are kind of like looking at the Bills right now. They're just like, yep.
Yeah.
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah.
Now you know how it fucking feels.
Yeah.
To have a big offensive star who you can't like figure it out around.
Yeah. I mean, at least, the playoffs hit. But again, that's what happens. You go to the playoffs, 8 years, 7 years, and that fades, especially without a single trip to the Super Bowl. On the McDermott of it all, the people that are like saying we wish him the best and want to have some feelings for him, I'm all about that. I think he'll have another job elsewhere and he'll be fine. And I kind of like put it in some personal notes that there's been a number of coaches that couldn't get it done, that split ways, and it worked out for both sides.
Yeah, you
got Andy Reid in Philly. You got Tony Dungy. Like,
how we always say shit. How we always say shit.
Yeah.
If McDermott goes to a shitty team, lock it in. We need to bet the spread every single game next year. What is it? That'll thrive and make the playoffs?
No, that he's going to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That would hit for sure.
And then I think that you're in a situation like that.
That would be perfect.
Probably steps down, and you still have a
grade
A caliber
that Bills
defense.
2017, 2019 defense was super elite. So yeah,
I do want to say with the timing of how quick this Dable interview is coming, if they want Dable, I think it'll almost be instantaneously after this interview that they pick up.
Yeah, I could see Dable being hired by Thursday.
For sure. And if not, then all bets are off.
You
I really
think
don't know
you think
shit.
the vibes will change and people will kind of get over the McDermott sadness? And because again, as soon as he got fired, a lot of people were saying bring him in as a consultant.
Oh, believe me, if you hire Dable,
Will we
the
be
only
back?
thing people will be seeing and framing is how good Josh was when Dable was here as the offensive coordinator. It's the only thing that they'll be.
And then
There won't be any focus on how Dable completely floundered Daniel Jones. Then Daniel Jones went to the Colts and had like the best year he's ever had. There'll never be any talk about how the Giants offense was virtually never good under Dable, virtually never good. Even with Jackson out there, like it was their defense that was decent. They never had a good record. There will not be any talk of that. It'll all be Dable's here. Josh loves him. Let's ride.
I was just going to say Thursday comes and Dable's the head coach. Then we're going to be talking about all the people that once he got to New Jersey, we're like, see, this is why he could have never been our head coach.
That was me the whole time. Just to be clear, I'll be the biggest hypocrite that there is possible, but I was hating on Dable the entire because so many people were like, we should have fired McDermott and just like
that's exactly why.
Crazy.
There was arguments for that, which now we're forgetting and bringing him back in over McDermott.
Boys, let's get some positive vibes going.
I want to ask you as we wrap it up because Slick and I talked about this with the openings. Do you think McDermott lands at another head coaching job and where?
I think it's at least 50-50 that he gets another head coaching job. There's still about 5 to 7 openings left.
Yeah.
I think like do the Raiders get someone new?
There's 3 in the AFC North alone, right? Steelers, Ravens, and Browns.
I love him for the Browns or Steelers.
Browns, Steelers, or Raiders for sure.
I'm not changing my prediction to conviction. I think he's going.
Raiders need a winner.
I think he could end up at the Ravens even with the. I think he ends up in the AFC North.
Does John Gruden have a pulse in all this? By the way,
big time.
We talked about it.
Terry Pegula is a name. Terry Pegula likes names.
I don't know about with us in the league in general for sure.
We talked about this Monday, and I'm like, I know people might be like, you're crazy, but I'm like, pick up the phone and at least see if he's interested because. I mean, that would be, you want to talk about culture, that would be a culture shock.
That would be going from like conservative mister to dynamo crazy.
That would be from like a wrecking ball to just like imploding the whole thing. Yeah.
No, I agree. For sure.
I think those emails might have kind of canceled any idea of that happening, even though that was about 7-8 years ago.
I think that's
the emails. Well, that was why I was asking if he's even allowed to. Like, I feel like he still has legislation, everything like that, or litigation. I'm sorry, but a team that's got us fired up is the Sabres. Bounce back win last night in Nashville. Amazing first 25 minutes. The next 10 minutes wasn't so great as it was almost like a tie game. It felt like. And it should have been out of that. But they bounced back with a win. They have the best record in the NHL over the last 20 games. So obviously when you win 10 in a row, you're going to be helped with that. But it's not like they've been slouches on the other side. What are they, 6-3-1 or something on the other side of that?
6-3-1 in their last 10. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
So that's how you follow up a 10-game win streak. That's what those bozos in 2018 and 2019, with all due respect, didn't have. They didn't have that continuity. Big win in Nashville. They're in a tough stretch right now. Is this the hardest stretch of the season before the Olympic break? 5 games in 9 days or something I was seeing?
It's up there with that last kind of away stand we had where we came a winning streak out of the end of it. So
we turned to a diamond.
Exactly. So diamond in the rough. Got to stay that way.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely like the next 4 or 5 games all the way, I believe, right?
We got 3 and then we're back home, but the 3 are against guys that are either on our heels or ahead of us. We're at the Canadians tomorrow. Saturday
heard tomorrow some swords might be crossing in the Niagara Street region.
Oh yeah.
So that's exciting. Make sure you get to Sports City Pizza Pub for beginner. I mean, listen, if there's a team to rally around right now, for the love of Pete, the Buffalo Sabres are finally doing it.
It's
the first time in 10 years.
Watching all these young kids come in and continuously step up, like that new kid line last night. Austin
and Hellenius were reminding me of Jochen Hesch and Jason Palmerville last night.
Austin's positioning, it was bar to none, just so good.
Yeah.
Hellenius with the
bodying up in that goal mouth for that one. That was gut. That wasn't a finesse goal. That was pure gut.
Hockey you haven't seen in 5 years plus. Getting up in the crease, smash mouth hockey, crash the net, positioning battles, winning them. And then obviously Hellenius just showing his skill and why we drafted him. My goodness. I was looking for the clip I took from the prospect camp. It was almost an identical play where he came in down the slot and ripped top right. Yeah, but then, as you said, what new kid lines sometimes do after a first hot period.
Yeah.
Entire team, the next period looks like they're in quicksand for the second half.
Also, I mean, that first period was kind of a slap in the face of the Predators. Like 3-0. I mean, we were smoking them in sports. And then you come out and score a fourth. Then you're kicking dirt in their face and they're down.
Sure,
it kind of makes sense that obviously these paid professionals will bounce back. But you hold off. I felt like, and let's be honest, we all know this and remember this. That's Lindy Ruff hockey. Get a couple goals, lead, and then, we've seen it a couple of times during this winning streak.
Yeah.
It was with the Canucks about a week and a half ago, right? We were up 3-0, 4-0. I almost lost my -1.5.
That was also a 5-3 victory.
I almost lost my -1.5. It got from 4-0 to 4-3. Yeah, I'll tell you, both times these games got from 4-0 to 4-3. So there are growing pains. They're learning how to win. But if they can keep doing that, I don't think anyone's complaining. End of the game, Ryan O'Reilly. What do you got?
I was just going to say, Minnesota Wild, we pulled back from 3-1 to 4-3.
Yes, that was nice to see some resilience there for sure. End of the game, we get Ryan O'Reilly, we get Malenstein with a massive block. He took that in the ankle, that slapper.
Yeah,
Shin,
A lot of padding in that angular shin.
No,
not the worst possible part of the leg to take
listen,
that
when you see
probably one of the hardest
when
shots
you see an NHL player get up to like skate off and then they just collapse, like again, like first off it's scary, but you're like, oh my god, he just took an absolute bullet.
First of all, when you see an NHL player take a second to get up in general, it's probably pretty serious because those are some tough SOBs. But yeah, absolute clapper from the top right. Malenstein, though, just showing the gut that this team has had all season repeatedly, things that we wouldn't see in the past, block shots, getting in front of the goalie on the offense, stuff like that, the nitty gritty.
Yeah, and then you have it in here too. Goalie makes stops when you need it, including right at the buzzer. Ryan O'Reilly doesn't like it, kind of mixes it up. But I thought they got the best of him. Well, there's two things. Nothing better than getting under a leader's skin that doesn't want to lose his cool in front of his guys. And then on top of that, like, game's over. Cry about it.
Yeah. Oh, the game over. Game
too.
over in their barn.
And them getting mad.
While they're getting feisty, absolutely hilarious for sure.
Lion was worrying me towards the end there, but makes saves down the stretch when it matters most.
I thought they were definitely scoring with like 5 seconds left. There was something across.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, they'll score to make it 5-4.
The entire past 2 minutes was just sketchy.
Yeah,
crazy. Payne Krebs, the empty net merchant. I got to look up. He's had like 5 or 6.
Demon. Yeah, no, but
empty net demon is nicer, I guess.
And the hilarious thing was he turned around with it in the Sabres zone and just right in the middle of the net. Like, it was hilarious.
It was honestly perfect because he had
the timing was perfect. They all came.
He shot it right when he needed to.
Love that. Love the Sabres again. We'll be back in action tomorrow night. Sports City Pizza Pub, Crossing Swords Live. Looking forward to that. Stay tuned for Cross Swords Pod for more information. Speaking of info, it was kind of information overloaded, that college football championship on Monday. We'll just touch on it briefly before we get into some of our Power of 4, buy or sell, and more. With that said, Don, across the board, you had a great game. You had a great result, and like we said in our chat, the spread and the over/under essentially went down to the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of followed the trend, and I like this. This isn't a complaint of all of like the college football playoff games where it seems like first half, this is going to be way under, and then the fourth quarter is just chaos. And we love that. Yeah, I was impressed. I really, going into the game, we talked about it in our chat as well. I thought that was going to be a TCU Georgia replay. I really thought Indiana was going to smoke them. It looked that way in the first half, but Miami battles back, and their offense really got rolling in that second half.
Number 4 on both sides for Miami just looked like a world beater, whether it was that running back making plays, in the short yardage for Miami, or the D-line.
Yeah,
the defensive line,
absolutely legit.
How did Miami lose when you look at these games? It just obviously there was something going on during the season.
Initially, in the beginning, keeping it as close as they did. That was Miami's whole thing. This whole tournament is keeping it low score close. But, Mendoza pulls away. Indiana got a running game going as well.
And don't underrate this. Obviously, I didn't have Miami. I had the under 46.5, which got a brutal beat.
I have 47.5. So
yeah, that was same movie. But, that cover by Miami was low-key insane. Twice they went down 10 in the final 20 minutes. And then at the end of the game, you have Indiana kind of driving, and they hold them for like that. Like they could have easily plunged into the end zone. I don't know if they were coached up to go down by Signetti.
Yeah, I think
that would have been an interesting situation. But
Yeah, I think I saw they got the ball back with like 5 minutes left, and I was telling Slick, I'm like, oh, there's no way this is Indiana's covering. I'm like, they're draining clock and just trying to like run, get all their timeouts gone. And I was hoping for a stop, and then maybe they'd kick a field goal because I did have Indiana, but was up with the other bets I had. So you're watching a good game overtakes that, and honestly, too, I think. Like, it wasn't just Miami fighting, backdooring, and making it close. Indiana, I mean, to go up on both touchdowns, had like a fourth down, like 4th and 6 they were converting
on these Hoosiers. I mean, some of these calls they were making were insane. Like
a QB sneak on like 4th and 7.
The QB draw, I mean, that's insane. An absolutely insane call, but it worked. And you saw it got down to like. There was one Indiana blocker and there was one like Miami defender, and like Mendoza just made the perfect move to like get the first down. Then obviously it makes the amazing move to get the touchdown. But yeah, I mean, what was this? Maybe the best. I'm trying to think of like a national championship that like since like Alabama, Georgia, since like FSU, Auburn. Like it had to be the best one in a couple years at least,
probably,
right?
Easily the best playoff in like
the playoff was insane. Playoff was pretty good last year, low key too.
It was.
But yes, I think the college football playoff is a good go. They might have to tinker with one or two things, but they might have to reset with the records after the first round or something.
Some of these teams want like 24-team playoff.
Dude, I'll just say, let me just say this. I don't hate it because you got 2 winners, and one of them was 5 Ohio State, and one of them was 10 Miami. So if more teams is letting like these teams get hot down the stretch, I'm more for it. More football that actually matters. I mean, as much as I love the Pop-Tart Bowl. Okay, love the Pop-Tart. Respect the Pop-Tart Bowl. But at the end of the day, like these college football playoff games hit a little different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting. I think the best argument for the college football system they have is, I mean, check this out: 2019 to 2022, SEC winners every time.
Yeah,
haven't had one since.
SEC
and actually haven't even seen an SEC team in the final game for 3 years, I believe.
Did Texas get reshuffled last year into there?
Well, no, I think this year they were. I don't think last year they were.
Notre Dame was in the final. Sorry, last year. Yes.
Yeah, Notre Dame was in the final, and then before that, it was Washington, Michigan.
Listen, their recruiting classes are still great. They're still like the talk of college football. SEC is on complete fraud alert since this college football playoff system came into like existence.
And you know what?
I mean,
very refreshing.
It is refreshing. It's a little change of pace. It's like, remember those years when it was just literally Tampa Bay Lightning and Golden State Warriors every year, like in the finals, like for about 4 to 7 straight years. Like this feels like a little different. This feels like when we got the Raptors, that one year for sure. So we'll see that. NBA. I don't know what these words mean. Wizards broadcast goose.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys. I put this on here.
I'll bring it up.
Yes,
let's just let it.
Oh, easier shown than discussed.
Oh yeah,
much easier. You got to see this because this, folks. Whenever we have a slip up in production technology, a mishap with a microphone, a screen, I just want you to watch this clip.
I mean, this is just some good old fashioned comedic relief that we all need.
Wants to get right on the inside.
It's cool.
They just show a picture of geese during a live broadcast out of nowhere.
No one knows what goose or where this goose was. And it's moving, too. It's an animated goose as well, Doc.
No, it was just a still photo of...
I know, the still photo's moving, yeah.
But, I mean, it goes to show, even in a national NBA broadcast, you can get...
You can get goose.
It's funny because, they're like, let's see this replay, and just a static picture of goose are just hanging out of the water. Yeah. I was cracking up. I'm glad you brought that up, Slick, because I was cracking up about that.
Definitely some comedic relief.
Had to show that.
Other than that,
LeBron?
Yeah, it's a depleted Nuggets team. They still got Jamal Murray, but
let's turn back time.
You see this dunk?
No, was it violent?
A 41-year-old man should not be allowed to be this aggressive.
Maybe he's feeling good out of the hyperbaric. Maybe he spent a night in the back tank.
That's how, I don't know if you saw, that's how he said that was his cure to playing his first back-to-back of the year.
He said, didn't he say every back-to-back is essentially a maintenance day for him? Like crazy, la narrative.
So not only does he need to turn back the time for the Lakers to get this win over the Nuggets, Luka drops 38 points en route to a triple-double big win over
38
the Nuggets.
and a triple-double is insane.
Very impressive, no matter who you're looking at in the league. I know we all say...
So he had 10 plus assists?
10 plus assists.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I guess with LeBron, that's a little easier. Yeah, a lot of teamwork going on there in the NBA. With that said, we got golf, we got tennis, we got some other entertainment. I kind of want to jump ahead a little bit, though, boys. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get into it because we talked about the coach situation for Buffalo. Let's get into the Power of Four, sponsored by William Matar Law Offices. So here. Four's up for sure. So with this Power of Four segment, we'll always identify forward, maybe look for 4 candidates. In this specific one, the Buffalo head coaching position. 4 coaches that should be on Buffalo's radar. I saw in the rundown, I mean, these are my 4 that you have select. So let's run down this one.
Really?
Yeah, why don't we go 4?
Are they in exact order?
Yeah, why don't we go 4 to 1? Literally exact order.
Okay, cool. So you want to start at 4 with the Power of 4 then?
Yes.
Okay, number 4 right here. Kind of a wild card. Mike McCarthy.
I'm
We talked about
surprised
this on Monday.
you have
I'm
this
kinda
on yours.
surprised that you're on board with this as well.
Listen, it's not on my list. This is the Power 4 on what I think will actually happen. And I could see a certain Terrence being enthralled with a name, with success, with longevity, etc.
Right. Gotcha. So do you want to give like a 4th that you would want?
Over that guy, I mean, I would probably be going. I mean, there's a lot of people I would want.
Okay. Wow. Okay. But how, in terms of the other 3 going forward,
the other 3 I would sign off on in a second.
Okay, then I feel much more confident going forward this segment
for sure.
now.
Listen, the Power of 4.
On the 4th one.
I don't question the Power of 4. Like the Power of 4 is, in my opinion, it is the divine intervention of what will actually happen in this reality that we live in, and that's very possible. I can see 4 happening.
That's why the Power of 4 is so great.
Exactly. All right. So number 3. Let's get on there with some positivity.
Number 3. These are some guys we talked about earlier. Davis Webb. Obviously, the familiarity factor. He played with Josh Allen. He's involved in the Broncos. He's the Broncos quarterback coach, involved in a decent amount of their passing game success. The familiarity is there. I think they're obviously going to look in that direction, given the news of the Dable interview coming as soon as it is.
There's a lot of hype around the Davis Webb of it done. But to me, this would be if Josh Allen pulls the, I really want my friend to sleep over. Come on, I need to have it happen. That would be the end call to get to Davis Webb to be.
And that could still be the situation for getting him into maybe an OC position as well, too. Number 2, I have Clint Kubiak, who also you mentioned earlier. Look, you make what I think is an average quarterback go to a 14-game win season and an NFC championship with a decent running back. We have the best running back in the league and an MVP quarterback at the helm. If you can do that with those 2 key weapons, I think the possibilities with the Bills offense are endless, no matter who you put in those skill position wide receiver.
And of course, we're talking about the Seahawks, obviously.
Yes.
We can go back. No, just to make sure.
Sam Darnold and the Seahawks.
But my favorite thing is, first off, Sam Darnold, people thought he might not be that great. And do you remember Smith and Jigba on his last offensive coordinator saying that the system was trash? Remember, he literally said the offensive coordinator his last. So it just shows that this guy has a legitimate system. When Jackson Smith and Jigba becomes legitimately a top 3 to 5 receiver in the league under this system.
Yeah.
So a lot of faith in Clint Kubiak for sure.
And then my number 1, it is quite obviously Brian Dable. This is the best choice for Josh Allen. This is the only choice that we've seen Josh Allen succeed under previously. He knows the system. He knows Josh. He's from the area. All those factors seem to check all 4 boxes, making the Power 4 for Dable all that much more strong. Don, I don't know if you had a separate list or where that
we have a bunch of overlap, a little bit of different order. So let me start with my 4, and it's the same as yours. Mike McCarthy. This is literally an experience pick, and I got to be honest, I thought his failures in Dallas were mostly Jerry Jones fueled. I don't hold him that. I mean, Mike McCarthy, when he thrived in Green Bay, he had total control over that team. And was he a GM as well?
I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, when he was running the helm, who wouldn't want to be that Green Bay team that went from Favre to Rodgers and won multiple Super Bowls? So, that is just, I have to put him on my list. Is he a likable guy? Am I going to get roasted in the comments for this? Probably. But he's got to be on there, and you're going to find a trend of offensive guys. I'll tell you for number 3, I don't have Webb, my thing you're going to find out through all of this is experience, even if it's not a ton. I want an experienced coach to come in side by side with Josh. I don't want it to be, we have the experienced QB with a new young guy. I like Kubiak. Now, he's not an experienced head coach, but what he's done as OC has been awesome. Again, offensive head coach. It wasn't really on my radar until I saw a lot of people talk about it. Now, I don't think it's really likely because I don't think they can interview him while the playoffs are going on because of something that changes for the championship game, right?
I think they freeze it out, right? Or something in the week between.
And I don't know if the Bills are going to wait till post Super Bowl to make this hire, especially with if they were the only team looking for a coach, maybe. But I mean, there are so many teams looking for coaches. It's very competitive. Granted, we're at the top of the list, so Kubiak, he'd be a great pick. We'll see how likely it is. Now, 2, this is a total dream one. People think I'm crazy. I mentioned it earlier. John Gruden. I would love to have John Gruden in town. I like his energy. He holds players accountable. He's energetic. He brings a whole different vibe. He's a little more in your face. He's a little more old school football. I like that. And most importantly, he's an offensive head coach that is involved with the offensive play calling. That's what I want. I would love. Some people are on my side. Some people aren't. I don't think there's a more divisive guy right now people want to bring in than John Gruden, but I love it. The number 1 is Dable, just because I got to do it. And I think it's the most likely thing that will happen based on his history. And hey, I'm going to call him a failure in New York. He was a failure. He deserved to get fired. But I will say I like the energy he brought to the sideline. And I like the energy he might bring to the locker room. He was right in his guys' faces like when things aren't going good, but was the first to give him a smooch on the cheek when something was going great. I like that energy. I like that excitement. And he's a young guy as well in the spectrum of coaches. So that wraps it up for me.
I think there's also a factor like to be kind of in the game but out of the game and get like a new perspective. Like I would assume if Gruden ever does come back, he would have a strong return for sure. Just having been able to get a breather and get back into that. Well, that's the power of 4 for you. I'll tell you one guy who wasn't saying 4 past weekend, Chris Gotterup, as he won the Sony Open. So I'm a hypocrite. I've been on this episode before and I'm going to embrace it right now. I always say we need more primetime golf. We need more primetime golf. We need more golf that's on 5 p.m. to midnight when you're at the bar.
Going to this.
Well, they were in Hawaii. It was the perfect spot for it. Divisional weekend, not exactly the best weekend to go up against, especially when the Buffalo Bills are involved. So I missed a lot of this tournament, but seemed like there were some up and coming names at the top of the leaderboard, and then seems like most of the field played better as it went on. Gotterup on it ultimately gets the victory. Where is he in Creek's rankings?
Oh, that's a great question. Obviously, we'll be keeping the golf coverage coming. Creek Degenerate making the spreadsheets that everyone should have access to. I don't know where he was, though. But, yeah, you said it, like some sleeper picks up in the rankings on this one, young up-and-comers, and then the main guys picked up their swing as the weekend went on, which is kind of what you expect with the start of, like, PGA season, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Out in Hawaii, I don't know how the time's getting to them and whatnot. I was going to ask your thoughts, too, because you were mentioning the primetime golf. What are your thoughts on, like, this indoor golf?
CGL, I love it. It's just, again, it finds ways to be up against, like, other stuff. Like, if I was CGL, I would be going at, like, 6:30. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't be going at 7, 8 o'clock against, like, the prime time. Like, that's all it is.
And I think I've
like,
even seen them go at, like, 9 or 10 as
yes,
well.
Yeah, like that. Like, I just think they're going too late. Like, it's good. You actually see great banter. You get to see Tiger Woods. A lot of people are excited, about, like, that type of stuff.
And it gives, like, the virtual reality golf a much better look if you were already not as, like, keen or weren't bought in on it and you were just all
the stadium setup is sick. And, like, awesome. The fans are sick. It's awesome. It's definitely
a good. The other day?
Yeah. I mean, what was it, Justin Rose?
Yes.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Rolled it right in. I mean, I can't.
Straight on the dot.
It's got to feel a little bit less electric than doing it in real life. I hate to say it.
Looks
but
like me at the Golf Dojo.
That does look like you at Golf Dojo for certain there. I don't know if I'm buying that necessarily, but folks, time for Buy or Sell, sponsored by Victory Smoke. Premium cannabis pre-rolls for everyday wins. Coming soon to local dispensaries. Taste victory. So for this one, we're staying with the Buffalo coaching search. And we have buy or sell on a couple of talking points or resume qualifiers regarding potential coaches, boys. So I'll give you the qualifiers and you tell me whether you're buying. That could be the case for the next Buffalo coach, or you're selling. It can't be. Will Buffalo Slick choose a coach that has never been a head coach in the NFL? So this would be your Davis Webbs. This would be your Joe Brady's. Clint
Kubiak. Well, I think they'll succeed if they were to do that.
Are you buying the idea? Yes. Or are you selling it now?
Does Anthony Lynn count as a NFL head coach?
I'm going to go on interims. No, because it's just not the same.
Yes, I agreed. Okay.
I'm going to sell just because I think there's such a great chance that Brian Daboll is our next head coach. Only reason. Otherwise, I'd be all in with the candidates we were just naming and coordinators that are out there. More so defensive out there than offensive, but there's still some out there. But I am going to sell.
Don, are you buying that Pat Kane pop for Daboll, or are you selling it?
I'm selling this, and again, I know Beane's kind of in charge of the search, but after that press conference, there is no reason for me to believe Pegula's fingers aren't all over this decision as well. And I think if I know something about the way this guy's brain thinks from watching the Sabres and things he's tried and learned through their failures, is he's going to want experience. I think he's going to go with the experienced head coach.
Okay. So you guys you're both selling the idea. Okay, I like that. So on this next one then, if experience is the same thing, this should be same page as well. Buffalo hires a coach younger than 34.
Yeah, sell. Even with, I don't know how old Daboll is. I don't think he's 34 younger. But even without the aspect
if Daboll's 34, I got a bridge to sell you to Niagara Falls.
Exactly. Even without the idea of Daboll, I definitely want someone with more experience. The NFL just doesn't have a lot of sub 34 experienced coaches, if any, other than I don't know.
I think McVay was the only one.
I was just going to say McVay, but he's right around there probably.
And McVay was like 32, 34. I think he was
30, 31 when he started. When he got the job.
So he's not there anymore. So if any left, so I'm selling that.
Yeah, I have to sell it if I'm looking for experience and being consistent with my last one. I don't even know who's on my radar. Maybe Webb. Is he the only guy that's
under? I don't even know who you are. Joe Brady under 34?
He might be 34.
He's got to be just about there. Davis Webb, younger.
Joe Brady's 36.
Oh!
Whoa. Okay.
Davis Webb is 30.
Wow.
So it's kind of be him, the only guy you're looking at. He's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm older than him. Jesus.
So we're both selling that then, basically. I think there's it's almost, I think we're all on a sell, but we also agree that if a certain number 17 buys in at the last moment, everything we say is moot.
If 17 buys publicly, it's hard not to.
If he buys publicly and you don't hire the guy he buys publicly, we're gonna have.
It would be funny if he was like, "Yo, bring in Davis Webb because they're the same age."
So you're trying to hang with another dude.
You'd have the QB and head coach
in the QB room,
just like going out for beers afterwards.
I love it.
Neither with the family.
I'll start off this next one. Buffalo to hire a defensive head coach. If we do, we are in so much trouble PR wise. That's all I'm going to say. Sell.
Yeah, I don't need to say anything else.
Don? Yeah, I'm on my personal feelings alone. Sell that. It's not what I want. So
right, sell.
We're selling. We're selling the house. Everything must go at One Mills Drive right now.
Buy or sell. Our final one here. Elevating Joe Brady to head coach. This falls in the exact same thing to me as the Davis Webb situation. I am a full sell on this. I do not think that Joe Brady super excelled at the role of just offensive coordinator. I think to go from a coordinator to a coach, you need to be dominating. You need to be top 5 or top 10 in your thing. Now, he might point to the points. He might point to other stuff. I don't feel like Joe Brady was a top 5 offensive coordinator just on his own merit. So with that said, I'm selling it. But again, if Josh Allen says that's my guy, we might have a problem.
I'm thinking even if Josh Allen says that's my guy, he's gone. I'm selling. Terry, there is no way based on that press conference that Joe Brady ends up at the helm of our coaching staff. I'm absolutely selling.
Yeah, I'm selling that too. Listen, now that McDermott's gone and kind of the era of like keeping everything in house, elevating people, I think that's over with. I think you're looking for something fresh perspective outside of the building, and that's really what we need. I don't want to keep elevating guys from this locker room and culture that seemed to be at its wits end by that last game. So I'm selling that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that's buy or sell there. We have the Aussie Open rocking and rolling. It was actually mentioned in Terry's press conference today where he was talking. Did you see that? Where he kind of lamented that he can't see as many of his daughter's games.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can. I don't mean to be like a jerk, but.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his phone's ringing off the hook, and he's got it's not even up to him, but yeah, I guess bad timing is like if you want to watch
exists, Terry,
yeah. Did you see Jesse or message on the camera?
Yep, that was a catch. So I wanted to get into that too. So both of the rounds are down to 64. Obviously, Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz are the favorites on the men's side. Who is the third favorite, and what are their odds? It's not a shocker.
Wait, so you said Sinner, Alcaraz?
Sinner and Alcaraz are both below plus 200.
Is it Taylor Fritz?
This is the guy who's dominated the last decade.
Oh my God.
Oh, well,
it's not
It is.
It's not Roger Federer?
No.
He played an exhibition game recently.
He retired.
Played an exhibition recently.
Russian, right?
Djokovic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you not see though? He played an
Eastern Europe,
and he pushed Taylor Fritz in the tiebreak. Yeah, I saw that. That's a little scary. That's what they're saying. The state of men's tennis.
Just when you say,
but Roger Federer didn't dominate the last decade. He hasn't even been around for like 3 years as far as the headlines. So Djokovic, what are his odds?
500,
800,
1200.
1100. So again, the state of men's tennis is that you've got a 10-1 as the third, and it's going to come down to Sinner Alcaraz for sure. On the women's side, we're into the round of 64. Not surprising that Sabalenka continues to be kind of a favorite, around plus 150 in most spots on Polymarket there. Any guess on our Pegula and her odds?
I'm going to say
she's behind Rybakina, Swiatek, Amsonova, Andreeva, Goff, Osaka, Victoria. So my only thing is that this is probably because of the way the bracket breaks down. I would assume she's on pace for a Sabalenka matchup in like the round of 8 or the round of 16.
Last year
if she was to win that, her odds would obviously go insane.
For sure.
But do you have any guess on where she's at right now? Ninth odds.
Just based on all those names in front of her, I'm 27-1.
I feel like the women's field is a bit closer. I'm going to go 16-1.
33.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, maybe this is the year. Listen, Jesse has been in a number of quarterfinals, semifinals. This could be the year. So this could be one where maybe it's a good play over on the markets for sure. But we'll have all eyes in the Aussie Open. For me, my eyes, Stranger Things season 4 in the books. I got it done. So super exciting. Stranger Things season 4. If I was looking for, an ending with Vecna, I'm a little disappointed, but that's what season 5's for, I guess. Is the upside down. Boy, you threw me. Nick's excited over there. He knows I'm into season 5. Very excited there. But yeah, we have a lot of entertainment there. We've got traders rocking and rolling. Very excited about that. I'm a little disappointed by how people are receiving the Vanderpump Rules reboot. But
I saw you getting into some heated messages last night.
I saw right. Well, no. Well, the big scuttlebutt in the Bravo universe was that Amanda Batula and Kyle Cook have separated. Kyle Cook has been nothing but an immature little pissant for about 6 years on Summer House, while Amanda Batula is an absolute saint. Puts up with all of his, non-sensory. So wishing them both, happy tidings in that separation. It does happen. With that said, speaking of train wrecks, let's check in with the Trainwreck Sports Crash Outline, sponsored by William Mattar Law Offices, Don.
All right. Yeah. So we're getting a new intro going now that we got this segment sponsored. So we can't use that kind of fun compilation as before. But let's get into it. I mean, Monday, if you thought our inbox was lit up, you should have seen last night.
I thought it was. Then I looked yesterday when you said it, and I was like, okay, who's like spamming like the Hey, but this looked like this was coming from every direction. Rochester, East Coast. You know, you have people in the Midwest, Texas.
Mexico.
Mexico.
We got a text, a long text from
Mexico.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, we had a video from Latin America.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, they're crashing out all over the world on the Trainwreck Sports Crash
So
Out.
let's start off. I mean, we got like 14 texts. Let's see if we can get through them, at least the good ones. And some of them are like a text accompanied with a call right after. So let's start with the first one right here. The NFL refs are the worst thing ever. Also, how do you have a rule 17, and not enforce it?
Okay, so this guy was commenting along on Monday, Don.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this, and I'm going to get into it because apparently this Rule 17 is that the commissioner can just like restart the game at the spot of a missed call at his discretion. And he was referring to the Brandon Cooks catch. I understand the question why it's there if you're not going to use it, but that just doesn't seem like something that would ever happen in a million years.
No, it was put in like 1932 to like make it so if they like put the wrong timing on the clock, they can go back and play another 10 seconds or something. It is not to overrule a call that they know they got.
Yeah, I mean that would just have a terrible precedence. Hey, again, Monday we were all in our feelings, but this next one. This guy has a text and then he follows it up with a call, and I mean, buckle up because this is a call.
Is it a buckle up or do I want like an overhead harness?
You might want to strap in.
Strap in. Is it a strap in?
You might take. This is a mind eraser.
Make sure it's not like.
So first, fire BEANE, fire Brady, get Mike McDaniel for OC. Well, bad news about that.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. He's off to the Chargers.
And best of all, get a wide receiver, and then please listen to my voicemail. No profanity. And just straight facts. So let's see. We can
see if he lives up to
be the judge of that. Here we go.
I mean, come on. I'm 15, turning 16. I think I'm smarter than Brandon Beane. Okay, 1 + 1 = 2. Josh Allen plus wide receiver equals win. Okay, we need Beane out. Pegula, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. McDermott, we love you. You know, okay, 13 seconds. That sucked. You know, we just need to keep on building up on that. That Broncos loss, I'm not going to fully blame on the refs. Josh Allen shouldn't have had, that fumble at halftime because of what the call was. Brady and McDermott, they've been working together, but hey, we need a wide receiver, okay? I'm 15, I know this. My dad, he was crying after the game. He already knows what's going to happen for the next 10 years. We're going to fire everyone, and Josh Allen, honestly, I think Josh Allen, if he wants to win the Super Bowl, get him out of here.
Oh, no.
Love Josh Allen, but McDermott was the reason why Josh Allen was loved. He used him a lot. The only reason why we were winning was because of Josh Allen. Now that we have McDermott gone, our head coach that we've had for 9 years and has an insane winning record, what's going to happen now? Who are we going to hire? Who are we going to fire? Fire Beane, fire Brady, get Mike McDaniels as our offensive coordinator. I know people are not going to like that because he was from Miami, but he's a good offensive coordinator, not a good head coach. Get him an offensive coordinator. Bring back McDermott, please. Please. Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Why would we do that?
Can you imagine?
You know what?
We did pretty good against the Jags. We were higher seed than us in the first round. How many times we lost in the wild card round?
Oh, my God.
With McDermott. Okay? And we fire him because we lose to the Broncos after a bad call. What are we doing, Brandon?
Folks, and that is proof that no matter how certain you are, you definitely do not know everything at the age of 15, let alone 16.
I think because I reviewed this call, what he was saying was like, if Josh wants to win a Super Bowl really badly, get rid of him because he's so in the dumps of like a lot of people that this organization is just going to tank now.
He didn't stay on the point long enough. Then he goes right back to like McDermott was such a winning coach. Like, whoa.
Yeah,
I get what he was saying.
Yeah, he was saying
win one, he's got to go somewhere else.
Do something nice, but yeah, that'd be sad. And I don't think that's going to happen.
People have already started piecing Josh to LA when Stafford retires. I mean,
I fear that we're going to have the tinfoil hats on for a long time.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you lose the process era for sure.
All right,
we still got some crashing out.
Oh
right?
yeah, we got. We're just getting started. Here we go. Text.
It's New York crashing week.
McDermott getting fired is showing light of the actual issues with this team, and it all falls on this GM. He was awfully sensitive over the last season when people call him out for not going after someone. "Quote unquote, I drafted Josh Allen, and you guys bitched about it. One lucky draft pick is the only reason he has had a career. Now go build that draft pick from 8 years ago, or now go build that draft pick from 8 years ago, a fucking team." So
fair points on all aspects.
Yeah.
Both sides.
This is a long one.
Okay.
We got a couple long ones. Let's see. I might have to leave some of these for Friday. We'll see. Because we got, let's see. This one's real long. Firing McDermott was.
Real quick, are you buying or selling that we will have a coach by Friday at this time?
Buy.
I'm gonna sell it. I know we said it could happen quickly. I mean that's 48 hours. They got 4 or 5 interviews to do.
Less than that.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that too.
All right, we'll see.
So this one's so long. Let's see if you can read this, folks. After this, I started breaking them up into part A and B's because there was some major melting down. But so firing McDermott was 1, a mistake, but 2, they did it so casually, like it meant nothing. I think this is the biggest issue a lot of fans have with how it went down. Firing Sean McDermott is a huge mistake when we are doing absolutely nothing to improve the roster. The fact that we got so far this year with all our injuries and they fire him, I seriously can't even see straight. I'm so angry. Check the Bills' social media accounts in the comments under these posts to see just how angry we, the Mafia, are. Heartbroken, gutted, distraught are just a few words. This firing and how it has gone down feels like the exact opposite of the community Buffalo is built on. I'm extremely disappointed in the Bills' quote-unquote leadership right now, and I know I'm not alone in that. A post with 3 pictures of him in 4 words. After years of dedication, energy, and heart, I'm absolutely disgusted and just sick to my stomach over this. It's not too late to bring him back. Some people are really hoping for the impossible in this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wishful thinking for sure. I would say not so much crash outs as trying to pull the plane out of a nosedive.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So let's get to a few more of these texts, and then, let's just keep it rolling.
We did. I will say that an hour ago, about 20 minutes after we started, William Matar saw the angle of the catch, the updated video.
Oh, he did.
"Quote unquote" on Twitter. "Okay, I think I finally have enough to sue." So that could be a developing situation. We need to keep our eyes on for sure. But right now, we're just crashing out. Thanks to those law offices for sure. What an episode, though. Honestly, a lot covered, but it feels like as much as we covered this situation, these storylines are going to be growing out of proportion.
They're never stopping. I think I was just going to say a minute ago, Don, I think with the reason it's hard to wait till Friday with these crash outs is our inbox might just be filled back up to the brim.
Yeah. I suppose
I know Monday's show is crazy, and here we are a mere 48 hours later, just as I opened on Monday.
Shout out to nearly 5,000 people tuning in.
Yeah, so I propose we got 14 texts. That's a lot. Let's hit half of them, which gets us through a few more, and then we have 6 calls. We want to hit half of them and save the rest. I don't know. Again, I'm afraid that we might get
we haven't
more.
Put a dent in these. I thought we already put a dent in half these.
We're almost halfway through just the texts.
So we've done 7 texts.
We are on text. Well, no, we're on text 5.
Okay, yeah, so let's go to 7 or 8, and we'll pick the 2 or 3 best calls here on the crash out.
We got okay. I'm not mad that he was fired. I'm mad at the timing. If we were ever going to fire Sean, it needed to be 2 or 3 years ago. We've seen this argument.
That's a popular take.
Yeah, and we waited until now. Beane also should be fired. I don't like any part of this, and I think this move was made too late. Still grateful for everything. He did, and before I leave, Justin Jefferson better have a bag packed and go Bills. I've seen that too. Everyone's like, all right.
That's your tale as old as time. Being getting Josh a Vikings, the unhappy Vikings wide receiver
with a little bit of a tude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, so
a shit ton of
this
that.
next text is actually at the end of a call because our guy got cut off.
Oh my God, did he go over his time limit?
Yeah, he went over his time limit.
I didn't even know he
and
had
it's a familiar friend of ours. Here we go. Let's hear from him.
What's going on, guys? Man, this is from Albany again.
Yes.
Doing a double call this week. I already called. Calling again.
Fine.
Just to list
Keep
the stuff.
coming.
I'm crashing out this time. Again, I want to thank you guys for putting me on the show this year. You guys fucking rock. I watch you guys' show rather
You rock,
y'all
dude.
put me on it or not. I love
You
it.
rock.
It's fucking awesome. I don't know. One thing, the first thing I'm going to crash out about, not going to lie, is the fact that everybody was so disrespectful to McDermott for the past couple of years. I mean, maybe some people have seen different, but they've done nothing but beg for him to be fired. And he gets fired, and everybody's just like, oh, whoa. Stand on fucking business. This is what y'all fucking wanted, right?
Thank you.
Like, I don't know. Something about it is just a little. I don't really like that. I don't like the
Right there,
two. Now, I
Mendez.
do understand the circumstance of it has changed the perspective. The way Pegula handled it was way too fucking corporate and corny and like shady. I don't know. It was just not how Buffalo gets down. It was fucking weird. I was never really heavy on the McDermott hate train. I mean, I always thought Brandon Beane just wasn't doing a good job building this team with the proper roster. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, moving on. I mean, out of everything, the Pegula, the Beane, the McDermott, all of that, what I'm most frustrated with is how our starters showed up for that game. I mean, we fought, we gave ourselves chances, yes, but 5 turnovers? Those fucking fumbles. Oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's not on the coaches, that's not on the staff, that's on the players. Not cool. But specifically the fucking fumbles. Like, what the fuck is that? I mean, you see better ball security from Albany Pop Warner. Like, I don't, that was not it. I'm just crashing out about it. Game's over. It's said and done. Regardless of the catch, which was a catch, in my opinion, I'm still upset about how the starting offense kind of, just didn't protect the ball. Really, really pissed me off. I was expecting a little bit more. It is what it is. Gotta move on, I mean, it is what it is, like I said. And then my last crash out, I'm so fucking pissed that we decided to fucking terminate McDermott the fucking year. All the fucking head coach candidates are like a bunch of daddy's boys.
Not a good
Like,
year
what
to
the
need an
fuck?
offensive coach. That's what they're
Instead
saying.
of doing it last year when you had what's his fucking name, Ben Johnson, sitting around. Now
Yep.
we want to fucking do it
Heard
this
that.
year. And I didn't even want that last year. I'm just saying, like, the time, it's like, oh my God. Pegula does not know ball, bro. I mean, let's hope for the best. I will.
So it gets cut off there, and he ended with it. Continuing my way too long voicemail. I'll be at the stadium next year regardless. Love my Bills and love Josh Allen. Go Bills. Well, shout out to us, Mendez, and we might have to see him at the game day tailgate or something.
Mendez, we'll get you to a game day tailgate. We'll still be joshing our Allen next year. Not a whole lot will change. So on that front, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mendez, for bringing clarity to our new empire, whatever it is, in this new state of Buffalo football. Do we have one more? Or was that
let's hit one more call, and we'll save the rest for another day. Seeing as what we got, let's see. I don't even have these labeled. I have a bunch of them. Let's hit a random one. Let's go with 3.
I'm fucking so pissed because it's all the GM and offensive coordinator's fault. Like, I'll let the defensive coordinator slide because, like, he's working with a bunch of old heads. But the fucking... He's Josh Allen. No receivers. Get him fucking receivers and don't call screens on 3rd and 20. McDermott's just a fucking bystander getting fucked. Thank you.
Is he like chewing?
No, he's like whispering in like a corner somewhere, like, or he's in the pantry.
Yeah, I think that's probably a break and during work call where, like, he wants
like someone was in his mouth
burning one for sure.
But let's get one more. I need a little more energy. Let's see.
that was a bit quiet.
Yeah, let's see.
Smoke them if you got them.
Let's hit this one.
Fire Bean.
All right, there you go. No said.
There
All right,
you go.
So let's stash the rest for Friday. We're gonna have a lot going on there, I'm sure. Especially Friday. What about tomorrow night? Sports City Pizza Pub.
Sports City
Swords
Pizza
Pod
Pub,
Live.
Crossing
Canadians,
Swords Pod will be
Sabres.
live. Mike Bunt, Gatesy, the whole squad, plus maybe Carve.
We'll have to see.
I'll be producing, and I did get notification. Gatesy says, "Jump on with us." So I might be on for a little bit, and we'll have familiar segments to you if you're a Trainwreck Today fan in the hockey context. I think we're going to be bringing the heat with some hot or not and some power of force. So, yeah.
I'll be drinking beer and eating wings off to the side, getting ready for the game.
I'll be rooting you on with a camera saying you're doing so good, sweetie.
Yes, precisely.
Love that one. Merch, obviously. Listen, we got all kinds of options, whether it's sell the team, whether you're buying in, whether you're selling out. Check out the merch Etsy and 26 shirt store.
You might want one of those Keon shirts before they're just absolutely irrelevant. Yeah, there's your spot.
For sure. Any final shout outs or sign ups, boys?
We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bringing the heat in the crash outline. You know, we love hearing from y'all. And
Almost 60 episodes into Trainwreck Today on Herd of Buffalo and Trainwreck Sports. I think these last two have been our most watched episodes. Am I correct?
Live, we've put up some numbers further on, but it's
So I just wanted to clap it up for everyone out there in the cubicle, living their day, doing anything. Listen, thank you for riding along with us. You know it never stops. Herd of Buffalo, Trainwreck Sports, Slick L on my left. We got Don on the ones and twos. We got producer Rachel making sure we are on our best behavior here, but it never stops. And we are on to the second half of the week. We've got Sabres. We've got a Bandits break, so we got a Banditos break there, but we'll get back into the orange and black action before too long. And we've got hopefully a great second half of the week ahead. We might have a new coach, who knows? But the only thing we can do today, boys, is have a good day now.